What's up, Bulldogs? All right, today I want to read you something that is from the Tao Te Ching, which is a really good, I think, stoic mindset to have. Something that I think we should all be reminded of, which is this idea of rushing into action, you fail. I saw this, I believe, on Instagram. Someone had posted this. By the way, if you're not following me on Instagram, go check it out. Click the link and you can follow me, Bulldog Mindset, on Instagram. I'm posting like every day now on there, at least at the time I was recording this video. And it's fun. I post like stories on there. You can see all my workouts and all kinds of stuff that you don't see on the YouTube channel. More of the kind of personal life and inspirational stuff. Let me read this, okay, and then we'll just comment on this. I'll just give you some commentary on this, my thoughts on this, but I thought this was cool, something to share with you that's kind of the stoic kind of mindset. Rushing into action, you fail. Trying to grasp things, you lose them. Forcing a project to completion, you ruin what was almost ripe. Therefore, the master takes action by letting things take their course. He remains as calm at the end as at the beginning. He has nothing, thus has nothing to lose. What he desires is non-desire. What he learns is to unlearn. He simply reminds people of who they have always been. He cares about nothing but the Tao. Thus, he can care for all things. So there's a lot in here that we could unpack. I'm gonna just scratch the surface of some of the ideas here. The first section here, rushing into action, you fail. Trying to grasp things, you lose them. Forcing a project to completion, you ruin what was almost ripe. This is a problem that we all have, right? Again, I'm a big proponent of taking action, right? But when you rush into action, when you try to grasp things, when you have this desire, when you're trying to force things, really what this comes down to is when you're trying to force things, okay, you end up destroying them. You end up undoing them. You end up doing the opposite of what you're trying to accomplish. This is so critical, right? If you want to succeed in life, if you want to have success, you have to remain calm. You have to lower the stakes by making it so that your focus, again, this is something I talk about all the time. I've got the whole playlist on this, on trusting the process. Check out that playlist on trusting the process. But this is the key, right? Again, this is all about trusting the process. This is about this idea that knowing, it's having the confidence that whatever you're trying to achieve, the way that you're going to get there is by grinding it out, is by doing it over and over and over again, by making progress towards it and not worrying about the results, knowing that the results are going to come. You're not going to force things, right? You don't have to rush because you don't need to. You don't have to try and grasp things because you know if you do the right actions, you will get the right results, or you will have the highest probability of getting those results. Here, I'm running a marathon. The key to running a marathon, right? You can get away with this on short distances, running really hard. But with a marathon, you have to have a plan from the beginning. And when you get to like mile 10, you can't be like, oh, I'm feeling good, so I'm just going to start running as fast as I can. You'll die. You'll die out, right? You're trying to force it to completion. You're trying to get to the end quicker. If you just stick with the plan and you know what your pace is and you know what pace you need to run, and you just keep running that pace, you'll get to mile 26. But if you push it, if you force it, and you force a pace that's faster than what you can actually maintain for those 26.2 miles, you're going to drop. You're not going to make it to the end. Another thing that he says here that's really cool, he has nothing, thus has nothing to lose. What he desires is non-desire. So having nothing, the idea of having nothing so you have nothing to lose, I think this is such an important concept as well, right? Think about it this way, right? You know, we are afraid of losing things because we feel that we have them, right? Where if we take the perspective that nothing is really ours to begin with, that we don't own anything, that everything is on loan to us, that we're just stewards of it, that we don't have any kind of ownership in anything in our life. You know, this perspective I talked about before of it's all gravy. If we have this all gravy approach, it's all bonus, right? The fact that we're alive, that's the only thing that we have, and everything else is a bonus on top of that. And if it's taken from us, we don't mind because it never was ours to begin with, right? So if you have nothing, if you view yourself as having nothing, then there's nothing to lose. Then you don't have this fear, right? So many people are afraid, especially people that become successful, especially people that make money, right? Or that achieve things in life, they're afraid of losing them. And their whole life becomes a stress, a worry. But how can I hold on to these things? Well, you forget that at one point you didn't have them, right? So you need to go back to that. You need to go back to the mindset that you had when you didn't have them, and you need to pretend like they could be all stripped from you tomorrow, and that's okay. Everything that I get is a bonus, and so I'm willing to let it go as well, right? Again, coming back to this idea of, grasping at things, you lose them. And it's so true. The tighter that you grasp things, and the more that you try to force things, the more you try to hold on to things, the more the struggle is going to be. So, and finally, I'll talk about this one last thing. He simply reminds people who they have always been. Right? He cares nothing about the Tao, thus he can care for all things. So, again, when we look at this, right, this idea of reminding people who they've always been, I think that's key. That's so critical. It's like everything that you want to become in life, everything that you desire to become, you are already that at your core. It's just remembering that this is who you are. That all this other bullshit that's getting in the way, that's not really who you are. It's all the stuff that's built on top that's preventing you from being who you are. These desires of who you want to be, they're actually who you are. That's why you have those desires, right? You're trying to fully express yourself. That's the path that we're on as Bulldogs here, as Stoics, is to become more of what we are, to actually become ourselves, to become what we know that in our hearts we are meant to be. And that's a noble path to be on. So if you haven't already, check out the Tao Te Ching. Really good book. There's a lot of different translations. I'll link to one of them here. But just some verses to meditate on that have some really profound wisdom in them. One of the oldest books that has been considered one of the best books of all time by many people. It's been translated many, many times because there's so much wisdom in there, and I think it coincides very well with Stoic philosophy. All right, that's all I got for you guys today. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button down below. Become a Bulldog. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.